Thank you, everyone, for joining me today. This is Mark, Account Implementation Advisor over at Reservations, and today is your second webinar. It's exciting. We're actually going to go over some advanced booking techniques such as multi-stop and pre and post cruise, and I also have a land-only reservation we're going to play around with and do some modifications of things that you're going to be able to do in Vax on your own. So why don't we go ahead and get started? I am going to go to our FunJet Vacations Anchor store. So I'm clicking on suppliers, going to FunJet Vacations. And just remember, keep in mind, any booking procedures is going to be the same for all the brands. But we're focused on FunJet, so we're going to stay in FunJet. And to get to the multi-stop function, on your Book Now tool, you're going to scroll down a little bit and find where it says multiple destinations. We're going to go ahead and click on that. You have several options of destinations that you can choose from. So it does combine Hawaii, US, Mexico, Caribbean, and Canada all into one. And you can do that with flights or hotel only with optional flights, or hotel only. You can do air and car. And this is for the domestic product, so domestic plus Canada, Mexico, and Caribbean. We also have Asia, so you can do hotel only or air and hotel. Costa Rica, same thing, air and hotel or hotel only. Also Europe. Europe's actually a pretty popular destination right now, and a lot of people are doing air and hotel, possibly with a Eurostar over from London to Paris, Panama, and also South Pacific. So South Pacific's going to typically be like Tahiti and Bora Bora area. So again, you can get 4 rooms and up to 8 passengers on one reservation. My recommendation is if you have multiple rooms for a multi-stop reservation, create separate reservations. This will make things easier down the road if you have to do any modifications. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a Boston over to Oahu and then Kauai itinerary today. And we're going to go through the filters and just try to make things as smooth as possible with the multiple destination option. If you have a promotion code, this is where you would add it. There are some promotion codes that are specific to Hawaii and multi-stop. So make sure you check your promo codes right up here under your deals and promos. I'm going to add the travel protection in here. I always do prior. So we're going to go from Boston, and we're going to do a holiday travel this year out right around Christmas. So I'm going to do the 26th of December. So I typed it in. Otherwise, you can use the calendar to scroll over and find the dates. And we're going to go to Oahu. And what I like to do is I like to just start typing out Hawaii because it'll give you all the other areas. So Oahu is Honolulu. And we're going to do 4 nights over in Honolulu. And then below here, you notice we have flight plus hotel. So you cannot deselect that over the water flight. So if you don't need that over the water flight, you'd have to do hotel only or hotel only with optional inter-island air. I am going to have a rental car in here, and for Honolulu, I'm not going to choose a rental car just because there's plenty of taxis and everything, and the traffic's a little bit crazy in Honolulu. You also have additional hotel options if you choose to. You can search for the hotel name prior by the hotel chain. You can also offset your dates here if you choose to. So if they are staying, let's say, with family for 2 nights, you can just select the 28th. Still check out on the 30th. So it's going to have you flying in on the 26th, but you're not checking in until the 28th. Well, let's change that back. All right. Destination 2. All right, so destination 2, we're going to go over to Kauai. LIH, and we're going to do 5 nights over there. And the way I like to put things is look at a multi-destination as going from point A to point B, however many destinations you have. So point A will be your origin city. How are you going to get from Boston over to your first destination? So that's point B. What do you need? And that's where you can select or deselect these options. And then going from B to C, okay, I am going from Honolulu over to Kauai. How am I going to get there? Do I need flight? Yes, I do. Am I going to need a hotel? In this one, yes, I'm going to have the hotel on there. And will I need a rental car? I'm going to keep the rental car option out in Kauai. Beautiful destination. Actually, a convertible would probably work quite nice over there. If you want to add another destination, you can just click on Add Additional Destination. And it will hold everything as you had your dates and just add another destination. If you don't want it, just click on Remove a Destination. Also at the bottom, you notice on your return flight, you can select a different city to go back to. This is what we call an open jaw. Fly from one city, go to your vacation, then fly back to another city. This is the only way you're actually going to be able to book this in VAX. If you just do a single stop destination, you'll actually have to call into the call center for that. So we're going to stay at Boston. Here's your filters for flight options if you want to. You can select your airline, cabin preference, and number of stops. My recommendation is if you're looking for a business class, always select first class. Because sometimes the flights will not have a first class cabin, so business class acts as the first. And it makes things a little bit easier. Otherwise, if you select business class and there's only first class, it will give you an error message. So we're going to do coach. And from here, we're just going to go ahead and hit search. And just one thing to kind of keep in mind, with a multi-stop or multi-destination, however you want to call it, it does take a little bit longer for things to process because you have more components and availability options that the system is actually pulling for. So just keep that in mind and have some patience with it. So it'll pull up in just a few seconds. And then another thing I kind of want to point out is, unlike a single stop destination, it will have your more of a smooth layout for you. So you're going to select your hotel, or your airfare, your airfare, then your hotel and features. Rather than a single stop destination, you're going to search for your hotel first, then you select your flights. So remember, like last time, we had our search by options. We can go airline, we can go price points, least to most number of stops, earliest to latest times, and same with flight durations. I prefer to use the filters on the left-hand side here. I want a morning flight on the outbound and also a single stop. So I don't see any non-stops, so single stop is going to be what it is. And you can also have a afternoon arrival time, so let's filter that down too. So we actually have the least expensive options, a 6 a.m. through Newark. You have a 34-minute layover in Newark and getting in at 2:20. To me, that's a little bit cutting it close, but it is a valid connection time, so you can do that. You have a 7:15 flight here, goes through O'Hare, and you have a 55-minute layover in O'Hare into Honolulu at 3:50 p.m. Or you have a kind of longer layovers with a little bit later or a little bit longer of a connection time. So for me personally, I would probably select this 802 through LAX. You have an hour and 15-minute layover, gets in at 4:59. One thing from personal experience, and I'm sure you guys have to deal with this too, winter weather. I try not to connect through winter cities. So in this case, there was one that went through Chicago O'Hare. Me personally, when I fly, I try to avoid like Chicago, Minneapolis, and so forth. Because of the winter weather delays, it makes things a lot easier. That's my personal experience, though. Alright, so the next will be from Honolulu out to Kauai. I'm going to try to find a morning flight and see if there's something a little bit later in the morning. So we got 11 a.m. Looks perfect to me. You get in at 11:43 into Kauai. And remember, you can always click on anything that is highlighted blue and it is underlined. So we're going to go ahead and select our inner island flight. And now our return flight. So this return flight right here actually is not horrible. It's got a little bit longer of a layover, but San Francisco's actually got a pretty nice airport. So I'm just going to select this 11:15 p.m. through San Francisco. Notice the next day arrival. And you'll see that because it'll highlight it red for when you arrive into that connecting city and gets back at 7:15. And before we go ahead and select our other components on here, I just want to point one thing out. Let's say your customers don't need that inner island flight. You have that option to remove here. So if you forget to actually remove it from your initial search page, you're able to remove inner island flights within here as well. Alright, so we're going to go down to Destination 1, which is Honolulu. I'm going to go ahead and hit Hotels. And then we can search for whatever hotels that we're looking for. If they have anything specific, we can search through that. Hilton Hawaiian is actually a fantastic property, so I'm probably going to use that as my example, just because of the amount of room categories that they have. And also, I know that they're not going to be under penalty at this point. So I'm going to expand my room categories. And you notice how we have several different room categories. Resort View, Partial Ocean View, you got Ocean View, the Elite Resort View, and anytime you have a promotion, you'll see promotions by the select button as well, or possibly in this middle box right here. So I'm just going to scroll down and see if there's anything there. Well, it doesn't look like it, but there are some rooms that are not available. I'm going to select the Rainbow Tower Oceanfront. And let's go down to our features. So I already pre-selected our all-in-one travel protection. It's a cancel for any reason. The only thing it doesn't cover is non-refundable hotels, so just remember to keep that in mind. And let's see about ground transportation and a lay greeting. So you notice I'm using the filter on the left-hand side to kind of narrow everything down. Alright, let's see what we got. Round-trip Waikiki transfers. Transportation with the fresh flower lay greeting. I'm going to go ahead and select that one. And I'm going to add that to my cart. Alright, I'm going to collapse this because we got our transfers. The round-trip transfers added on there. Now I'm going to go over to destination number 2. And let's see what we got for hotels out in destination number 2. Alright, so it automatically has the Grand Hyatt Kauai selected. Take notice, it will say it's non-refundable right in here. So keep an eye open for that. So let's see what we got here. Oh, look, we got an agent bonus indicator. If you book the Kauai Shores Hotel, you earn $50 bonus cash with a 3-night stay, booking by the end of August. And then it just says agent must be registered with bonus cash. So that's a great way for you guys to earn extra money. If you see those little indicators, or there's a red one that says upgrade, just hover over it. It'll tell you the promotions that are running. I'm going to go ahead and do that because I want to earn some extra money.
I mean, it makes total sense to me.
And for rental cars, go ahead and click on rental car. Now here's kind of where you can play around with this. Here's your pickup time and drop-off time. Car rentals run in a 24-hour cycle. So you want to make that as close to possible as within that 24-hour cycle before you get an additional night added on. So in this case, I know we're going to get the additional night added on because we're not going to drop the car off at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and then have a flight at 10 o'clock. So you can play around with these if you choose to. They're by the 15-minute marks. You can select a specific car company over here. So Alamo. And you can pick up over at the Lihue Airport and drop off at the Lihue Airport. If you're needing to pick up and drop off at different locations, that's where you're going to need to do it, and you'd have to select a specific car company. I'm going to look for a convertible. So we got a standard convertible, and it looks like Alamo's the least expensive, so I'm going to use that. Alright, so let's see if we have any features that we want out in Kauai. We don't need any transfers doing from the airport because we got that car rental, so that is out of the question. Let's see about sightseeing and tours. We have 15 of them available for these dates. There's a luau and pageant. Luau's are actually quite popular, so let's see if we can just go ahead and select one. I'm going to do it on the 3rd of January, see if it's available. Hit add to cart. If it's not available, it will not let you add to the cart. Alright, so we have everything in order now. We're going to go over to our checkout page. Remember, you can look at the included taxes and fees over here, terms and conditions, and baggage charges. The one nice thing about United Airlines specifically is once you have your reservation booked, whether you have money on it or not, and you take that airline confirmation number and plug it into My Trips on United.com, it will tell you the specific baggage charges for your flight. We can add the agency fee if you choose to. Remember, there's a 10% processing fee on any agency fee. So, for example, $100, you'd only get $90 commission out of that $100 because 10% will go to us. Now I'm going to go ahead and go through the checkout page. And just to kind of go over one thing with Hawaii. So we're going to go ahead and check out. I'll just take a few moments. Notice at the top it says warning component has new price. If we scroll down a little bit more, you're going to be able to see exactly what that is. It was the car rental because of the time. So also keep in mind, car rentals on Fun Jet Vacations, they do not include gas, tax, the insurance at the car rental company, or additional driver's fees. That is due at the counter. So basically what you're paying for is just the base cost of that car rental. You can select right here to see what the estimated taxes and fees at the counter are. By going over to policies, you can see what's included, the rental rules, deposit information, or if you go over to the rate details, you can see the estimated fees at the counter, and it'll add them up right there for you. Also keep in mind, I'll go up to the top one at the Hilton Hawaiian Village. 99.9% of the hotels out in Hawaii will charge a parking fee and also resort fees. So this particular hotel, $45 plus tax per night resort fee to be charged at check-in. And also there's a parking fee of $45 plus tax or a valet of $52 plus tax. And below will be your hotel cancellation policies. If we go down to the Kauai Shores, they only have a $20 plus tax per room per day resort fee. And this one doesn't have any parking fees, so that's kind of nice. And you have your penalties down here. We have our all-in-one selected. I'm not actually going to go through the booking process because we did make a reservation last time, but here's where you would add your names as it appears on their government-issued ID. And because, remember, Hawaii is domestic, they only need a driver's license, so a valid driver's license. Here's where you can enter your frequent flyer information again, any passport information right here. Scroll down under your special service requests. You can make your hotel requests at time of booking for both of these properties. You can select your bedding, what type of room requests, if they want non-smoking, any special occasions, or if you want to enter VIP customers, do something nice, whatever it may be. Flight requests. You can put your flight requests in here if you choose to.
But even if someone
And for your car rental, it will make you select a specific driver of the car rental, but you can't do it until you actually add the passengers' names in. So, let me just plug my name in here. Don't care about the gender or anything like that. So let's see here. My sister's birthday was yesterday, so I'm going to put her in here.
So yeah, maybe I can send that. You just send it to this. Yeah, that's what they are.
Now you're going to be able to select your driver. And you notice how it has a little red asterisk right there. It's going to need your cell phone number for your participants for that luau so they can get a hold of you. There's the seat assignment functions. Not recommending doing that. We are having some sporadic issues with that, so best option, always make your reservation first, then go to the airline's website and select your seat assignments. And below is your payment information as normal, and you would just click on that and create your booking. So go ahead and type in the chat if that makes sense to you, if you have any questions on the multi-stop right now. So before I go on to my next topic, if you guys had any questions, I want to answer that real quick. Yeah, it's pretty easy to follow if you just follow the format of maps. It's just getting in there, realizing what you need in each destination. Okay, so it doesn't look like we have any questions. So I am actually going to go back here and go to my search. And I kind of want to show you something where you can do something called a pre and post cruise, to where you can have your flights for your whole duration, and you can select a one-night hotel pre-cruise and then a one-night hotel post-cruise. It's going to be in your multi-destination options. So I'm just going to use this same example, but I'm just going to add another destination. So I'm going to add a third destination. And wait for that to pull up. So for this specific example, let's say they want 4 nights in Honolulu, and then they got 5 nights over to Kauai for a cruise. And then let's say they want to go to Maui for 3 nights at the end. We can do that, not a problem. So let's click on Maui. It's OGG. Let's do 3 nights. And I don't need the flight because we're going to take that cruise. All you have to do is put in the number of nights for your cruise and deselect these options. If you want to do it for 1 night in each destination, all you got to do is 1 night for the hotel in each area. So what that will look like is, let's go ahead and hit search. I'll show you what that looks like. And this is a great way to earn extra money. If you guys do cruises, I know cruises are getting pretty popular at the moment. But instead of booking the airfare separately and possibly the 1 night hotels separately, you can book the hotel and the stays that you need to through FunJet, get your normal commission, and you also get it to go towards your production. So I am just going to collapse this so you can kind of see. So you have destination 1. You see that we still had the 4 nights in Honolulu. Destination 2, there's nothing there. You can add features if you choose to. So if you click on that, you'll be able to see what features are available. But you're not going to have a hotel, rental car, or any flights or anything like that. So it's just an open destination. It's just flight. And then you have your third destination, so post-cruise right here. You can select your features, add rental car if you choose to, and so forth like that. It's the same concept as a multi-stop. It's just that middle stop, essentially, or whatever stop it may be, is removed. So you don't have any components there. So that's just kind of one thing, just kind of want to point out, because not many people realize that you can do that. So next, what I have is I actually made a land-only reservation, and we're going to go over some modifications that you can do yourself in VAX. And the reason why I selected a land-only reservation is because you're typically not going to have hotel policies far out in advance. And this is all based off of making sure the room's available. If it's not available, the system won't stop you from changing it. It will change it to a different property, and I'll show you that tool that you have where you can see what your original itinerary is. But as long as the hotel is available, you can make a bunch of changes. So I'm going to go ahead under Retrieve Reservations. You may have seen this before, but I still like this little tool right here. You can retrieve the reservation if you have your reservation number. If you don't remember your reservation number, you can search over here. You can search by your passenger's first and last name, booking date. So, okay, I booked them yesterday, but I don't remember the reservation number, so you can select that. Departure dates. If you are in a specific anchor store, like we are in FunJet, you're only going to be able to select FunJet. If you retrieve your reservation from the main backs page, you'll have to select your supplier. If they have airfare, what origin they're from. You can filter by destination. If you have a promotion code, you can see what reservations you have that promotion code on there. Or what agent booked this. And because Jessica's on the line, I'm going to actually show her something that's pretty neat. I'm not going to have anything in here. And I am going to select booking status active. So that's what reservations are live in the system. And once you hit search, it will pull up all the live reservations that have been made by your ARC. So you can scroll down. We have 10 results here. Here's your options. It will show you the supplier, the reservation number, passengers' names, booking date, departure date, origin if there is one, and the destinations, the amount paid, the amount due, payment due date, if there's a promotion code, and status. So we search for active, so it's only going to pull the active ones, and then what agent made the reservation over here. What you can do from here, though, is you can actually export it to Excel. And this will be kind of something a little bit easier for you during tax time. All right. So we got our reservations pulled up here. If you scroll to the right more, you have even more filters. It'll tell you the specific resort. It'll tell you the amount paid, total amount due. You can filter your payment dates if you choose to. So I'm going to enable my editing and then go back over. So I'm going to go payment date. Select all. You can see what dates they're paid for, the commission. And you can always just kind of highlight everything and sum up your commission by doing your formula right here. If you go to AutoSum, it tells you your total commission on your bookings that, for this case, was 10. It's kind of a good reporting tool for the agency owner or site manager. So I just kind of wanted to bring that up as well. And because I know what reservation we had, I'm going to select it. You can just go over here. Just remember blue highlights and underline. You can select it and click on it. So here's my land-only reservation I made out to Jamaica. I just put myself in there and then my nephew in there. Just for names. We're at the Azul Beach, December 2nd through the 8th. And all things that you need to do are going to be based off of your itinerary tools. Right down here. So if you have transfers on your land-only reservation and you don't have your flight information quite yet, you can always enter that after the fact. And that'll just be under comments and preferences. Flight information. Just put in the airport airline code, so let's say American 101. And what time does it arrive? Let's say 6 p.m. So it'll tell you it's been updated. If you hit history, it'll show you it's in there. Right down here. In case you forget, you can always look at the history and see what requests you have in there. So now from here, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and play around with this and change some things up. So we're going to go ahead and change the hotel. So let's go ahead, and to change that, you're going to go to Modifications and change Component, because a hotel is part of the components of the reservation. That's what makes up the reservation. And now from here, what it's going to do is it's going to price everything out at the current rates at current availability. And we're going to go ahead and hit Hotel. And let's see what's available. Let's say they want to go down to a RIU. I type in RIU on my filters. Here's the RIUs that are available. Let's go adults only, so that's RIU Palace Jamaica. Look at that, another bonus cash. I'm going to do that. I want more money. Hit select. And right here, where it says your total package price currently, below it says modified. And then right here it says original itinerary. This is where you can check to see what you originally had on your reservation. So here is what I originally had before I went in, started playing around with things. And also just keep in mind, as long as you do not hit complete itinerary change, you're not making any changes. If you need to get out of that reservation, just hit retrieve reservations, or new reservation will take you back to the search page, and you didn't make any changes. So we're going to go ahead and change it over to RIU Palace Jamaica. I'm going to hit checkout. If you don't have your flight information, we already entered those in. You can always hit I do not have flight information at this time. You do not always have to keep putting your flight information in there. Go down to the bottom of the page. Click on the I've read and explained the terms and conditions. That will be required after any type of change that you do. And once it refreshes, our hotel will be changed. Other things that you can do is, because I know this was available because we changed it over to this property, let's say Jacob no longer is traveling and you want to go as a single. To do that, modifications, drop packs. So in this screen, I can remove him, or if you're changing the age, so let's say he's 13, basically what it will do is ask you for the date of birth, and then it will reprice everything as one adult and a 13-year-old. But in this case, I'm removing him, so I clicked on that little check mark right there, hit change. There we go. So it just has me currently as one passenger right here. You can see that over here too, where it says adult base price 1. I'm going to click on the I do not have flights. I always go back to this original itinerary option up here to make sure what features I had on them. So I had on transfers and travel protection. It's telling us we have a new price because we're going down from a double to a single. Right, my transfers are still on there. Great. My travel protection is still there. Remember, you have to select one of those options prior to making any changes. You'll go down to the bottom, click complete itinerary change. Now when it refreshes, it's going to be for one passenger. So that is complete. Now let's say I want to reduce a night. Well, we already verified that everything is available. So once you do that, you can go down to your modifications, change rest date. So if I want to change it from checking out on the 8th down to the 7th, I'm going to click on my little calendar, click on the 7th, hit search. Right, make sure that everything's the same. So currently we're at our itinerary summary screen. It shows the 2nd through the 7th. It shows travel, protection, and transfers. I'm always going to double check. All right, so we have the Junior Suite Garden View, travel, protection, and transfers. So we have everything on there. I'm going to go ahead and proceed through checkout. I'm not going to enter my flight information again, but what I am going to do is I'm going to go ahead and charge a service fee because this customer is driving me nuts. Just all these changes and everything. So I'm going to charge them $150. This is the screen you'll have to do it to add your agency fee. All right. So now it's going to update with your new pricing. So anytime you make any type of modification, your flight information is going to be here if you have transfers. And I'm going to go down to the bottom. Guess what I got to do? Yep, click on that I have read and explained the terms and conditions. Complete the itinerary change. All right, so now we're the 2nd through the 7th. You can also change traveler information if you need to. So let's say I want to add a middle initial or a middle name or do a complete name change. Got to be careful with that because that could have some fees associated with it. I'm going to go down, modifications, change PAX info. All right, notice I can't do anything right now. But if I click on this little box right here where it says change traveler information, I can. So let's say we're putting a middle initial of P as in Papa. And name corrections error. Let's say there's two T's in my last name, but there really isn't. Just make those changes, hit change. All right, selecting that little checkbox so I don't have to enter the flight information in. Reviewing my itinerary, making sure everything's the same. Garden View Junior Suite. Got our transfers, travel protection. Going on to the bottom. And complete changes. And the last modification we're doing is you can remove features as well. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove my transfer. Let's say they don't need the transfer anymore. They found a way to the hotel on their own. I'm just going to go to modifications and change component. Because the transfer is a feature, which is a component of our reservation. And all you have to do is hit remove. Or refresh your screen real quick. Proceed through checkout. Go down all the way to the bottom. Click on the I've read terms and conditions and complete the itinerary change. And wait for that to refresh for us. And it's just waiting. Perfect. So those are a lot of those modifications that you can do within VAX on your own, as long as that component is available, especially for the land portion. Anytime with scheduled airfare, recommend calling into the contact center. If you have scheduled airfare and you're looking to add a passenger or drop a passenger, same thing, or shorten dates or add dates, call into the contact center because airfare is tricky and it will have penalties upon payment. So those are a lot of those modifications that you're going to be able to do in VAX, so you don't have to spend time on hold, so you can get things done on your own, be efficient, and then make more money with your next customer that's waiting for you. So that's all I have for you today. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the line for any questions. And so just 1 second, I'm going to go ahead and unmute everybody. All right, perfect. So everybody's unmuted. So what questions did you guys have for what we went over today? my pleasure. I mean, it's just once you start getting in there and doing it, it's not overly difficult. It's just a matter of knowing what you can and can't do. And and no matter when we talk, I'll mention this tomorrow too, because we have another webinar tomorrow. That education page is fantastic of knowing what you can and can't do as well. Gives you a brief little tutorial. All right, does anybody else have anything? So tomorrow's going to be a little bit different. Tomorrow we're going to go over groups and the group dashboard. Have you made a group reservation quite yet? Well, groups is a fantastic way to actually earn a ton of money, just because a lot of them have comps for a contracted group, and you can always add that back into your commission. So, and well, if you do that, there's that 10% fee on that, of course, too. But we got some really cool technology for our groups dashboard. With a groups your way, you're not going to see it. So, like the one you have with the promotion code, we'll go over the two types of groups that are available through FunJet. But there's some really cool options on our dashboard for our contracted groups. And I mean, you can basically, you're going to create a parent reservation. We'll go over it more tomorrow. That you can apply money to, just in general. So people can start calling in, put $1,000 down per person or whatever. Then you can go inbox on your own, move money to whatever reservation that you want. So it's a really neat feature. So we're going to go ahead and go over that tomorrow. So we are here again tomorrow at 3 p.m. Central. And I appreciate everyone logging in today and taking the time out of your busy day to spend with me. I was lonely, so I appreciate it. And we'll go ahead and we'll talk tomorrow. Oh, my pleasure. You guys have a great rest of your afternoon, and we'll talk again later.